everyone, Tambarambaa, also known as Tammy Klinger, here again with you today with another bold and bright art journal page featuring lots of art by Marlene products. So this one, I was inspired by the Vellum paper pad, Arty Vellum pad it's called, that I used last week to create the rainbows, and I knew I wanted to use it again. So this one is in my artist size journal, which is the large journal, and I've just grabbed out lots of the neons and then a few pops of my other favourite colours as well. So I used Happy and I used Mermaid, and then I also used the Funky and a little bit of Ballet as well. And what I did is just popped a few bits on my background, and then I swiped it with a old credit card or store card just to give that really cool background effect. So I did add a little bit of the punk, the purple in there as well, just to create a little bit of depth in a couple of places. So you'll notice that I have left a border around the edge, so I've got an idea of what I want to do with that, so we'll see how that comes together. So what I've done is I've just grabbed the leftover bits of the vellum from the paper pad that I used last week, and I love doing circles on my layout. So I just cut just purely with freehand. You could use a punch if you wanted to, but I've actually just cut around a few different sizes, some smaller ones and bigger ones out of the vellum. Then I'm sticking them because I really love how they pop against white. So this is just a piece of white printer paper, and I'm just gluing with a glue stick my circles down, and then I will cut around the edges. So I don't think you need to watch all my fussy cutting. So there we have it. I've cut them all out, and then I'm just kind of playing around with where I'd put them on my background. Once I've I've tipped them off, and I decided just to fill in a few of those little gaps, little blank bits that I have around the place. Just to give it a more even background. Now what I've done here is I've come in with some lace paint, which is the white, over the top of what I've already got there. This is just to create a bit of interest and texture in the background. So I've come in with a stencil. You can use any stencil here. I've used one of my favourite Marlene stencils, which is one she designed for the Crafters Workshop, called Botanical Dream. And I use it, you'll see it in a lot of my work. It just works. So I've done it with white. So I've added white, and then I've pulled the white back off with a wet baby wipe through the stencil. And I did that in a couple of areas, and then I decided to do the same thing with the black paint, which is the pitch paint. So you've got to work really quickly with Marlene's paints for this part because they do dry really quickly. So I've just popped that black down and pulled it back up again, and I really like that sort of grunginess it adds to that fluoro background there. So once I kind of work out where I want my circles, I come in with that cool circular stamp from the Mixed Elements new stamps of Marlene's, and I just kind of stamp it so it's coming off of the black paint, so it's just tying it into the background there. And then I've also grabbed the gorgeous like crosses, I guess you'd call them, and I've decided to add a bit of those, stamp a bit of those onto my vellum circles, just to tie them as well into the background. And then there's another cool circular stamp in that Mixed Element stamp set. I hadn't used it yet, so I thought, righto, let's add some of that as well. So I kind of stamped that so that it was coming off of the circles, so you'll see that the circles are kind of over the edges of that stamp. So then I've just glued down with the sticky glue my vellum circles, and now with a paint pen, so I'm using a Life of Colour paint pen. This is just a black paint pen in a thicker size. I've just kind of done a squiggly border around the edge. It looks a little bit like a flag, but I just sort of went with a wavy background. And then what I've done is actually outline the circles using that paint pen, and you'll see here I've come in with a finer black paint pen as well, and I always do that because I think you know, the bold thicker marks balance really well with the finer marks, and they just kind of bring it all together. So now I'm filling in that border just with some of the black pitch paint. So I'm not overthinking it, I'm just doing stripes. So for those of you who follow my work, you know I love black and white stripes. I love how against colour it makes everything pop. So I did edit a bit of that out just so you didn't need to see all of it, but I've basically just gone all the way around the edge. And that sort of wavy border adds to that fun, you know, bit quirky border that it has created. So now I've coming back in with some of the paint colours that I used. I'm adding a little bit with my fingers to the background just to really oomph that colour up. So because a lot of the colours I'm using are the neons, they're translucent, so they help you build colour in the background. I also, with that store card, I decided to add a few lines and marks. Some of them I ended up rubbing in, some I didn't, but you just see how adding a little bit more colour back in is helping everything to sort of pop. And I really love that really bold colour in the centre with the black and white border. So now I've added so much colour that I feel like my beautiful mermaid colour, that gorgeous blue, has got a bit lost. So I'm just using it straight from the tube, and I love this about Marlene's paints, is I can just add little dots wherever I feel like it on my page. So I brought a bit of blue back in, and then some of my brush marks weren't awesome around the border, so I'm just using a black paint pen to, you know, hide all the sins. I don't do it to every single one, but I do it to quite a few of them. And then with all my art journal pages, it's really important to add some white back in. Particularly we've got black and white in the back, in the border, so I need a bit more white. So I'm just using the white paint to do some dot work, and then a bit of a white pen to do a few little scribbles as well. So bringing that white back in helps it all pop. And because I knew I wanted to use a white quote, so this is from the Bold and Bright sticky quotes, and it says, "Open your mind, it's beautiful inside." And because I knew I wanted white for that, I just felt it needed white somewhere else in my background. So the final step, I'm just decided to add a few more circles with my paint pen, just to really give it that sort of grungy look. And that is about it. So yeah, I'll leave you with some close-ups. I hope it inspires you to just go and have some fun with colour. And thanks so much for joining me. I'd really love it if you could subscribe to my channel, and I'd love it if you leave a comment, because I just love reading them and knowing that you watched my video. Bye.